Narcissist Ensnared. Episode 4. Wynne had found the lack of contact, whilst the summit went on, unbearable. He pictured Ashleigh stood in the large kitchen area of her home, placed under pressure by Peter, and also by her father. Wynne understood that her father wanted to preserve the status quo. It was always easier. Divorce forced people to make a choice, and people were selfish. They did not want to have to decide which spouse to remain friends with. It was rare to be able to remain on good terms with both. You either dropped them both, or they dropped you, or you picked one side and you backed it. Unfortunately for Wynne, other than Ashleigh, nobody was backing him. He had wanted to call and state his case. In fact, he wanted to be there to put to Peter his catalogue of abuse, to see what he had to say for himself. He wanted to get to the truth of the matter, and also to enable Ashleigh's father to hear it all. He knew, however, that his appearance would be inflammatory, and no doubt he wouldn't even be let into the house. No, he realized that he had to be the bigger man in all of this, and wait. Ashleigh would prefer him to do that. Concerned about Ashleigh and unable to remain in his house alone, he had called Stephen and invited himself around to his friends. And Stephen's wife was out, so the two of them were sat in Stephen's living room, overlooking the river below as they drank a beer each. Wynne had rattled through events of the last few days, turning them over, analysing them and dissecting them. And Stephen listened patiently, offering no opinion but preferring to allow Wynne to say his piece. Once Wynne had completed his update, he turned to Stephen. "What do you think, mate?" Stephen took a drink from his bottle. "I can understand you wanting Peter to go under a bus and piss off now he's been told it's over. The thing is, these types of breakups are never clean. Leaving aside the issue of the children and the house and so on, they've been together for a long time." "A long period of abuse and affairs," reminded Wynne. "Yes, I appreciate that. But he obviously wants her. Why else would he tolerate her previous affairs?" "He tolerates her because she fits his idea of a trophy wife, beautiful, bright and compliant," snapped Wynne. "No doubt. He won't want to lose her because in his twisted mind he really does love her. The reality is she's just an extension of his ego. If she goes, he's not the alpha male he thinks he is. As for a father, well, as you said, he doesn't like conflict. He'll be worried about the grandchildren, and since he doesn't know the full horror of what has happened, he'll think they can sort it out, and he'll want them to do that." I know. I just feel like I'm the one who has helped her through the crap, and here I am on the wayside, unable to do anything." "Mind you," added Stephen, "I do find it strange that she's been with him so long. If he's as bad as she's made out, why stay? Money, I suspect. It doesn't say much for her moral fibre then, does it? Perhaps she wants to keep the family unit together, as some people put up with god-awful behaviour for the sake of their children," offered Wynne. Stephen nodded and drank more of his beer. "I understand it's frustrating, mate. Just keep in mind she's chosen you, and with good reason. You have to let them just go through the motions, though. These are the death spasms of the relationship. There's been no clean sword stroke. Instead, the blade was blunt, and it'll take a few hacks yet to sever the ties. Have confidence in yourself. You've told me all the brilliant things that she's said to you. It's you that she wants. She sounds utterly into you, and from what you've said, you're very much caught up in her," said Stephen. "You're right. She's bloody wonderful. I've never met anyone who I have so much in common with. Everything just fits. It's like putting everything I like out on a table and she mirrors it perfectly. It's incredible. I just want to see her," confessed Wynne, and he sucked on his beer. Stephen drained his and stood up. "I'm having another. Do you want one?" he asked. "I better not, tempting as it is," answered Wynne. "Back in a moment," said Stephen, and he left the living room. Wynne stared at the Christmas tree, the lights gently twinkling, standing out against the dark beyond the window. It was early evening, and he had been with Stephen for a few hours. At least he'd been able to get some of his concerns off his chest. His phone chimed. It was a message from Ashleigh. Stephen entered the room again as Wynne read the message. "I'm in the bath at my parents'. Kiss, kiss, kiss." Wynne felt a sudden annoyance at the comment. He'd been sat waiting and wondering all afternoon as to what had happened. She'd obviously travelled back to her parents and settled into Bath before even deciding to get in contact with him. Had she no idea how frustrated and isolated he felt? He put the phone down on the settee next to him and decided that he wouldn't respond. See how she liked not hearing from him. "Any news?" asked Stephen. "No, nothing," answered Wynne. Stephen sat down and stretched his legs out. The chime sounded again. Wynne turned the phone over and saw the winking golden light. "I wish you were here with me. Kiss, kiss, kiss." Wynne put the phone back down. "Is it her?" asked Stephen. Admitted Wynne. "What does she write?" "That she wishes I was with her." "Well, that's good, isn't it?" asked Stephen. "Yes, I suppose so," answered Wynne. "I feel annoyed for some reason. I think it's because I have shielded her all of these months and sucked up the pain she has felt. I've run the errands and done this and that for her. Don't get me wrong, I've wanted to do that. I just feel that after being so heavily involved in it all, I'm being pushed to one side where they all debate the issue. You just need to remain confident, pal. You have to see this bit through. If you start making it about yourself, even though I understand where you're coming from, she won't appreciate it. Remember, she regards you as her rock, and she'll take that for granted sometimes, especially when she comes under attack from him." Wynne reflected on this. "I see what you mean. I just feel worried something's not right." "You've no need to. She wants you, not him." Just then his phone chimed again. "See, she wants you," affirmed Stephen, gesticulating to the phone. Wynne looked at it. "Please talk to me. Please. Kiss, kiss, kiss." "Do you mind if I ring her?" asked Wynne. "Of course not," said Stephen. "I'm dying to know what's been said." Wynne dialed and waited. She answered after one ring. "Thank God, I thought you'd left me," she said. "No, of course not." "I feel so alone, Ian. I need you. I cannot bear it if I do not hear from you." "I am here for you. What happened this afternoon?" he asked. "Oh, where do I start? I went there with my father, and he turns up mob-handed. His father is there, his stepmother, her daughter, and one of his sisters." "Why were they there?" "They wanted to stick the knife in, didn't they? They were all waiting. It was like a kangaroo court. I've never liked his family. He doesn't like them, really. For years they have bullied him and made him do what they want. I've had to stand up for him and point out to him how they try and push him around." "Push him around?" asked Wynne, not quite believing what he was hearing. "Absolutely. They're awful to him. I would manage to get him to see sense, though, after a while. It took me a while to persuade him that they plotted against us. That way I was able to separate him from them. They didn't like that because, of course, they wanted to assert control over him. His family tried to make out that I was isolating him from them, so he did what I wanted. Ridiculous, isn't it? They are as bad as my family for that kind of thing," she said. I got him to listen to me in the end and not bother with them as much. They tended to leave us alone then, which is what I wanted all along. Anyway, I walked into the kitchen, and there they all are waiting. His stepmother. God knows what it has to do with her. Well, she was the first to have a go. Do you remember her? We met her and her daughter in Duke's Way Square that time. I introduced you as a friend and pretended you were Blackmore when Peter asked about it." Wynne answered affirmatively. He remembered that Ashleigh and he had been strolling along through the indoor shopping centre on a Friday. He had been pushing Christopher in his buggy when they had passed a tall woman with a younger girl. The girl had pointed out Ashleigh just as they had walked past, only recognising her at the last moment. Wynne had hung back, conscious of them knowing Peter. Indeed they did, being step relations. Afterwards, Ashleigh had explained who they were, and they were bound to tell Peter about them bumping into her and Wynne. She had then passed Wynne off as somebody else. "So what did Peter's stepmother have to say?" asked Wynne. "Oh, she said I was a liar and a disgusting person, and how dare I let another man push the buggy containing Peter's child. She said they all knew how I was infatuated with men, and that I needed psychiatric help." reported Ashleigh, her voice high in indignation. As if I need psychiatric help, she continued. She was the one who chased after Peter's dad and broke up their marriage. She has the cheek to accuse me of being deceitful. She caused the affair. Sorry to point out the obvious, but haven't you done similar? What do you mean? You had an affair, you came after me, and broke up your marriage. That's entirely different. How? Why are you questioning me, Ian? Aren't you on my side? Yes, you know I am. I'm just pointing something out to you. I was forced to end the marriage by his god-awful behaviour towards me. That's the difference. Okay, calm down, said Wynne. Don't you gang up on me as well. Why would you do that? She declared. I'm not. I'm on your side. You know I am. Go on, tell me what happened next. Anyway, she went on and on about the other affairs, that I couldn't want for a better husband than Peter. She said the entire house was down to him. I mean, don't they recognise that I work? She even had the cheek to say that he was great with the children. What did you say? I told her she had no idea what she was talking about, and reminded her that she had broken up a perfectly good marriage and was in no position to lecture me. Then her daughter, the silly cow, started having a go. I was not going to stand there and listen to that stupid girl talk to me like that. She didn't even go to college, you know. She's a half-wit. What did she say? Queried Wynne. She said I was a slut, and that I had everything to wish for, but that I was man-mad and I was ruining the lives of my children. Ouch. I told her where to go and warned Peter that if she didn't shut up there would be blood on the floor. How dare she? How dare she talk to me in such a manner? Who do they think they are, challenging me like that? Don't they know what I've done in my life and what I've achieved? Ashleigh was raging now, and he could hear her voice echoing in the bathroom. What was your father doing all of this? Nothing. He just stood there, same as usual. Didn't you tell them about what Peter has done to you? I didn't have chance. I was too busy defending myself against that outrageous lies. Anyway, this went on for a while. I wish you had been there. You would have defended me, wouldn't you? Yes, naturally, and I would let them know exactly what you've had to put up with from that bastard. You see, you understand me. You're the only one that does. I should have taken you to the house rather than my father. Anyway, after all of this, Peter wanted to talk to me alone in the study. He sat me down, and he does likewise, and then he produced a list. A bloody list. He told me that these are his demands, and they are not for negotiation. He told me if I don't comply with them, then it's divorce. Hang on. The marriage is over, so why is he making demands and saying if you don't do as he says, then he'll divorce you? Asked Wynne, puzzled. I don't know. More control, isn't it? So what's on this list, then? I have it here. First, I am to sign off work with immediate effect. What for? You're not ill. Oh, he thinks I am. He said I have a serious psychological problem, and all his family agree. He said even my dad thinks that's the case. Have you ever heard such rubbish? What he wants is to keep me here so he can keep an eye on me. You're not going to sign off sick, are you? Asked Wynne, concerned that Peter was trying to rope Ashleigh back into his sadistic control. Heavens, no, I love my job. Good, go on, encouraged Wynne. Secondly, I am to undergo a course of therapy. I am apparently addicted to male attention. Thirdly, we are to review all finances. He may consider renting a flat. Fourthly, all non-essential expenditure is to be cut so as to build up a lump sum. He says I spend too much. He is ridiculous. Who is the one who spends hundreds of pounds on wine that just sits there and is never drunk? Him! Fifthly, I am to have no contact with you whatsoever. If any of these conditions are not met or are not adhered to, then it is divorce. And what did you say to this, then? I told him I would think about it, answered Ashleigh. Why? It's over. He's carrying on like there's something more to discuss. Oh, I just said it out so I could get out of the study. Right. I wish you were here in this bath with me right now. I need your kiss, she said. I wish I was with you too. It feels like an age since I last saw you. I know. I can't stand it. So what happened after that? Asked Wynne. Oh, there was some more mudslinging. I told him I wanted to go, but he said he didn't want to. He said he only felt safe in the house and needed to stay there. I said that I was going to stay with my parents and the children had to stay with me. He didn't object to that. I knew he wouldn't. One night of looking after them on his own was too much for him. He made me agree to sit down with him tomorrow to go through the finances. So, aren't you going to work? No, I'll take the day off. I see. Yes, it has to be done. After all, after that we left and here I am now, sat in my mum and dad's bath talking to you. He doesn't seem to understand that it's over, if you ask me, commented Wynne. No, well, I'm quite the catch, aren't I? Remarked Ashleigh. Well, yes, but too good for him. Maybe you need to be blunt with him so he understands. I have been, but he only hears what he wants to hear. That is true. Are you okay? Yes. Oh, he also admitted that he made that stuff up about the gardener and the husbands of my friends. What on earth is going through that man's mind? Asked Wynne. I've no idea. Look, I'll have to go as my mother is making me something to eat. I'll text you later on, yes? Please. I miss hearing from you. I'm worried about you. That's sweet, but don't. I'll be fine. I'm used to all this excitement. I wouldn't call it exciting, said Wynne. Oh, well, you know the drama. I am, after all, an actress, she laughed. Well, I'm at least pleased to hear you laugh. Thank you. I will message later. Bye. Bye. Wynne turned to Stephen to relay the content of the conversation to him, and also to articulate his concerns that Peter was still trying to cling on to Ashleigh, something that irritated and concerned Wynne.